particular concept of who these women are from two, three different angles. One is psychological, one is biological, and also how she is perceived by the society. Then we will see, because that's our main no rooted concept for the day to be discussed, and that is her clinical brain, how her brain functions with respect to her menstrual cycle, and what are the major issues. I cannot cover in 60 minutes all the aspects of women's life at length. So I'll just give you an overview, a briefing. What are the major milestone issues at her milestone, timings of her life, which are really important to tackle because that brings a big shift in her emotional, psychological, professional, and family life, and what we can do collectively towards this particular gender. So that's how we will go. But I prefer doing interaction more rather than just one way talking. So I am starting my session with activity. Next slide, please. So I want you to join me with this activity and do the activities with a lot of, input, and that too very honest input. I hope that we have a few people who are maybe they are not actually the psychological group. They might be coming from some no other backgrounds, maybe NGOs, or maybe professionals, or maybe doctors, or maybe somebody like me who is into women's health. No issues. I have tried that the activities can be done by most of the people. So now I will be giving you questions in the next coming slides. And what I want you to do is that you have to answer in the chat box. There are also options given in the this particular slide, so you can just whatever option you feel is closest to you, you can just put it in the chat box, and we will go a little fast with this so that we don't miss the actual content. So first question, please. So this is the first question. Have you seen someone, maybe a friend, family member, or maybe a client, behave very differently during certain days of the month? Whatever comes to your mind. Uh, I see maximum people. We have very good observants in the today's meet. So happy to note that. So we know that there is something different, and things change with women so easily, right? Okay, next question. Next slide. Yeah. So, how often do you document menstrual history in every female mental health case? This goes to those who are a part of psychological background. So, we have Shabana ma'am saying always, Uma ma'am is also saying always, rarely. Thank you for that honest answer, Nandini ji. Rarely. Okay. Okay. Sometimes. Okay. So not everybody's putting this into always, maybe sometimes, maybe rarely, maybe never thought about. Okay, now next question, next slide. How you have you ever diagnosed depression or anxiety without asking about cycle timing? Yes or no? No. Maybe a little yes. But many of us are also in the group of no's, right? Okay. Number four, next slide. Do you think mood changes during periods are just overthinking or real biological changes? Both. Yeah, both. Both. See, there is no correct answer to this particular things. We are not checking how far we are correct. We are just trying to understand our perception, how we perceive these issues, right? Next slide, number four, five. Yeah. Do you believe hormonal changes can mimic psychiatric disorders? Agree, okay. Unsure, agree, unsure, agree. Yes, unsure. So most of us, we are like maybe unsure, not sure, or maybe we do agree it can have an underlying hormonal cause. Okay. So we'll discuss this when we talk about hormones. Next slide. Would you treat mood symptoms differently if they occur only 5 to 7 days before menstruation? Yes. But if you have taken the history, you will come to know about it. Otherwise, not, right? So that is where if you incorporate appropriate history, then only you can understand it's because of periods or it is because of some other no mood disorder aspect. Okay, next question. What if 20 to 30% of your female clients are being misdiagnosed because you're not tracking their cycles? Is this possible? This is possible. Okay. Yes, it is possible. Yes, so we are almost on the same page that there can be a misdiagnosis and the therapy or the counseling session might fail. We might spoil the case if we have overlooked the biological or the psychological issue. So that was where I wanted you to know to bring you here on this particular thing. Okay, next slide. Let's do one more activity. In the coming slide, there are going to be some statements. So, what I want you to do is that I'll be reading one by one the statements, and you have to try to judge whether it's purely psychological or it has a biological base. So, if you feel it's a biological base, you'll put B in the chat box, or if it is a psychological one, you can put P. So, that's up to you to decide. Next slide, please. So these are the statements. The first sentence I'm reading. There are days I feel very confident and social, and other days I want to avoid everyone. So, is this biological or this is purely psychological? So, most of us we agree this is very much biological. And the question lies is it treated in that way? Or is it handled in that way? So that is what is we have to integrate when we are practicing or when we are helping the women somewhere. Yes, it can be both also. It can be both depending on the background history because here it's only the statement. We don't know the background history, but it can be both. Next sentence is my motivation drops suddenly without any clear reason. Biological, okay, it can be biological, shift in the moods, shift in the hormones. It can be a psychological, again, if it is underlying. Okay, what is the history of that person, but it can be biological also. Okay, it can have an underlying physiological reason, right? Okay, number 3 is I feel disconnected from my baby and guilty about it. Both psychological, both both. Okay, psychological. So this is somewhere related to postpartum blues. That is where this sentence is coming. So these are I have taken the dialogues of females, how they reveal themselves and their emotional state when they are going through this kind of thing. So this is postpartum depression. Okay, number 4, I suddenly feel anxious and can't sleep, but nothing major has changed in my life. Psychological. Okay, seems like both. Little tricky, right? And these are very common sentences that we hear, especially from young people. So if you come across youngsters, as I'm a teacher in university, a lot of no youngsters they have this thing. अभी अच्छा लग रहा है, अभी अच्छा नहीं लग रहा है, and there is a common no this thing for the women coming up. ये लड़कियों का मूड कभी भी चेंज हो जाता है, पता नहीं चलता है. अभी तो सही था, अभी 2 मिनट में क्या हो गया. नो सो पीपल पुट देम लाइक यू कैन नॉट अंडरस्टैंड द नेचर ऑफ विमेन, बट देर इज सो मच अंडरलाइंग एंड सो मच baggage that she is no handling. It's very difficult to actually grasp this. Okay, coming to the last one, I feel like I am losing control over my emotions in my 40s. Both. Okay. Many people are saying it's both, it is biological. This is more of with the menopausal, premenopausal state of women. They go through a lot of emotional distress because of their menopausal symptoms. So, why I have shown you these slides, because this is what the topic is of the day. We want to understand that sometimes you feel it is purely mental issue, but maybe there is a connection beneath the mental issue. It is somewhere within the cycle. Sometimes you feel it's only cyclic, it's physiological, but there is also a connection, maybe mental. And there is also a background music coming from the social factor. So, women, when we are trying to deal with women mental health issues, whatever they are saying is not just or merely psychological or biological or social. She filters through so many lenses before she actually expresses to you what exactly she is feeling. Because many a times her lens is also through some particular component or factor, because she's trained that way, her upbringing is in that way. So what happens is that she has normalized so many things in her life that she herself overlooks certain things which can have a background music, maybe in her psychology or in her biology, or because of her social conditioning, and those things are underlayered. So as in person dealing with this particular gender, we have to keep it in mind that what she's saying might be just her reflection, but maybe the root causes are somewhere else. And we need to probe them up. That is why we are going to talk about the cyclical brains today, which can help us understand where we have to work when we are working with this gender. So let's move ahead. Next slide, please. So, a most critical question, I'm bringing you to the next aspect of our today's no session, that is who these women are. Why are we talking about them and who these women are? So I would like you to answer, what do you think? What is the nature of this women? What is this gender all about? What could be the psychology? And we'll try to talk about our women, Indian women more, okay, so that we can relate with the people that we are staying with, right? So, what could be her psychology according to you? Who this Indian woman is? One thing I told you, most people label her that she's very moody. She cannot be predicted. Sometimes she'll behave good, sometimes she broke down. What next? What else can be her psychology? Yes, no answers. There are so many women. You can judge from your own self. What's your psychology? What's your nature? Who you are?
May I say something?
Yes, please.
Okay, so at the age of 46, I'm running 46. So कभी ऐसा लगता है कि मतलब पहले से जो हमारा परसेप्शन बना था कि वो शांत है, सब कुछ कर लेती है, बट अभी मैरिड लाइफ में 25 इयर्स कंप्लीट होने को है. सो अब मैं अपना जब स्टैंड लेती हूँ या कोई भी आर्ग्यू करती हूँ सपोज फैमिली में, सो मुझे कोई लेबलिंग की जाती है समटाइम्स.
Yes,
और
that
समटाइम्स, हाँ, समटाइम्स मुझे बोला जाता है बस अभी इसका, क्योंकि अभी मुझे बहुत नजदीक से लोग जानने लगे हैं फैमिली में. सो मुझे बोला जाता है कि हाँ अभी इसको छेड़ना नहीं है, हफ्ते 10 दिन तक उससे थोड़ा दूर रहो. या कभी कभार झगड़ा हो जाता है तो एवरी टाइम मुझे बोला जाता है कि बस अभी तेरा ये शुरू हो गया तो मुझे भी मैनेज करना पड़ेगा.
very true, very true. I
तो
agree with you. Most of the women, they go through this particular phase in 40s. Oh, and many have shared identity crisis. So you realize you can have an identity in 40s. Most of the
यस.
women, they realize this in late 40s, that am an individual. Please treat me like an individual. Okay, don't treat me like I am your wife and I am your mother. I am an individual. So that is where the crisis, mental crisis also start. Thank you, Ruchira ji, for sharing that. and I see many other answers from the chat box. I'll quickly read them. So there is this individual differences, taking care of others. She is very loving. She is a human being who values herself and her loved ones. Yes, she works under a lot of pressure, unable to understand at times what we feel ourselves. Yes, that's true, because we are not taught how to actually deal with our own self. Not only women, but also men. In our education system, we lack this particular concept of no trying to identify who we are, right? So that is definitely there, right? And now let me show you who these Indian women are. Next slide, please. So this is in general, okay? These are few of the aspects who these women are usually in India when we are talking about. They are the ones who are self-silenced. So they'll not express themselves. Okay, they are the ones who feel that remaining quiet is the best thing. This is what we are taught from the very beginning, that you are not supposed to ओपिनियनेट योर सेल्फ, आपको अपना कुछ ओपिनियन नहीं देना है, आपको ज्यादा कुछ बोलना नहीं है। जो लड़कियां कम बोलती हैं, शांत हैं, आर्ग्यूमेंट नहीं करती, वो अच्छी मानी जाती हैं। दे आर द वंस वो लाइक डाही छोकरी, बहुत सरस, बहुत अच्छी बच्ची है, सब कुछ मान जाती है, कुछ पूछती नहीं है। सो सेल्फ साइलेंसिंग, एंड देन यू स्टार्ट वैलिडेटिंग दिस, ओके इफ आई डोंट से समथिंग, I am the good girl. So that is one concept which goes on. Guilt conditioning. If we don't do something for others, we are very good mothers. We are taking care of. But अगर मैंने एक चीज कम कर दी तो मुझे ही गिल्ट फील हो रहा है, अच्छा मैंने मेरे बच्चे के लिए ये नहीं किया, अरे मैंने आज मेरी जॉब पे 1 घंटा ज्यादा लगा दिया, ओवर टाइम कर लिया, मेरा बच्चा भूखा रह गया। गिल्ट कंडीशनिंग, वी हैव लॉट ऑफ गिल्ट कंडीशनिंग। वो बच्चे ने कुछ नहीं बोला है, पर मम्मी को इतना गिल्ट है कि मैंने मेरे बच्चे को 7 बजे के बजाय 8 बजे खाना दिया। So guilt conditioning is it is there in number of sectors and in number of areas women go through. She normalizes her pains and sufferings. Check your mothers. Your mothers only would complain when it is too much to bear. Till then, she'll not complain. She will bear, continuously bear, including fevers, aches and pains and all sorts of troubles. हो जाएगा, अच्छा हो जाएगा, चलेगा चलेगा, वो bear करते हैं. Okay, that is how they tolerate. So they make their pain very normalized. It's okay to have certain pains. Internalizing submissiveness, even if they are not being told, but they themselves have decided that in certain condition they are not going to say anything, and that thing replicates for the professional life also. If the lady is not going to be assertive in the family, she'll not be assertive at job also. So she will not go against her authority, against her no bosses. She's going to work underground because of this thing. Not having enough awareness about her own no biological aspect. So she doesn't know how her body is working, so she's not able to connect with her body issues, psychology, and then reflect. So low cycle awareness, relationship identities no are more with her. She will treat herself as a mother, as a daughter, as a wife, no, as a badi bahu in the family more, compared to I'm an individual. So she'll keep herself at the end and keep everybody first, no, at the place. Emotional endurance is too high. She'll tolerate everything, and that is why Indian female even tolerates domestic violence. अगर आपके यहाँ कोई मेड आती है तो वो मार खा के आती होगी, रोज मार खाती है, बट फिर भी अपने पति को संभाल के रखती है। उसको पति के अगेंस्ट नहीं जाना है, कुछ नहीं बोलना है। वो उसी से उसके उसको मारेगा, उसके पास से पैसे लेगा, दारू का पैसा खर्च हो जाएगा, पर फिर भी वो उसके साथ रहेगी, उसको छोड़ेगी नहीं। Things are changing very slowly, but this is the majority things happening with Indian women. External validation. अगर हस्बैंड ने बोल दिया ये साड़ी तुम पे अच्छी लग रही है, तो अगर आपको नहीं पसंद है तो भी आप वो साड़ी पहनेंगे। क्यों? क्योंकि दैट इज एन एक्सटर्नल वैलिडेशन। यू हैव अ फियर ऑफ जजमेंट, यू कैन नॉट बेयर द फियर ऑफ जजमेंट, एंड लॉट ऑफ स्टिग्मा एंड शेम। Now India is open to divorces, but initially it was not. So a female getting divorced would always be blamed for her low character. Although maybe she has taken divorce because the husband is not having a cooperation, or maybe he is having an extramarital affair, or maybe the husband is having some other scenario, but still society would look at her that there is some problem with her, that is why husband left her. So there is a shame and stigma. So she doesn't want to go beyond a certain limit or break the chains out of this shame and stigma. And that is where this is what Indian women is, whom we have to deal with. Unfortunately, 80% of women are like this. Okay, we talk about women in 21st century, अभी तो 22nd आ जाएगा, but maximum no people they are like this just because the upbringing is different. I'll also come to the social factors why women are like this and what are the affecting aspects. But this is how she is going through, and that is why I've written one sentence here: what is not expressed cannot be assessed. So she is coming with lot of things to you for the help. Maybe if you are in an NGO sector, or maybe you are in an awareness education sector, or maybe in counseling sector as a psychologist, she comes with lot of things. You have to keep it in mind that you are dealing with a person which is really complex. It's not a simple personality, right? Next slide, please. So that was the psychological aspect of women. Those who are not from psychological background, a quick overview of the biological aspect for you. So this is what is the reproductive system present in the women's body. Because we will be talking now and then about certain words, so I'll just quickly take you to this biological aspect. So you can see there are two ovaries from which ovums are produced every month, and that is where the menstrual cycle starts. So menstrual cycle is a monthly cycle wherein you're going to have one ovum released from any one ovary every month, and that is to pass through the uterus. It will come from the fallopian tubes into the uterus, and if there is a sperm coming from the men, then ovum and sperm is going to fertilize and pregnancy will be there in the uterus. So from uterus through the vagina, the baby is going to come out after delivery. And cervix, you can see one word, cervix. This is the second most common cancer happening in India, and that is why now we have HPV vaccine, cervix. No, this no, there is a virus which is linked with cervical cancer. So for that we have vaccines available in India now, and Indian government is rolling on. So we will soon have the vaccines at a very discounted prices also. So cervix is the one which is the opening of the uterus. And from there, the baby has to come out through the vagina. So vagina is also known as the birth canal. Next slide, please. And this is the ovary. So why I'm showing you this ovary is because you can see there are a lot of circles here. And I'll not go in the technical terms, but these all circles are nothing but they are developing eggs. Within them, there are developing eggs. The circles are known as follicles. And these developing eggs, every month from that, one egg will be released. The girl, when she is born, she comes up with approximately 3 lakh eggs for her life. Okay, so that goes to 300 300,000, sorry, 30 lakh eggs. So 300,000 eggs she is bringing to life. From that whole no life, she has to release one egg every month, starting from 12th of her age. So now the menstrual cycle age has also gone down. Now the girls come in her periods by 9 or maybe 10 years of age. So she will slowly start releasing ovum or egg every month from this stock, the stock that she is bringing with her during her birth. Okay, so it will be released from this ovary during ovulation time period, which is again in the monthly cycle, 14th day. So every 14th day, it is expected that one egg will be released from her, any of the ovary. Okay, next slide, please. So this is the most interesting biological concept of female's body. Why she is different. See, we have seen the psychological side of the female, but you need to also understand she's a very unique, I would say, not a gender, but an entity. She is being designed very differently compared to any other gender. In this diagram, if you will see very closely, you only have to focus on three things. It's a very technical, scientific diagram. We'll not go in the detail of it. But what I want you to read is before birth, childhood to ovary inactive from puberty to menopause. Okay. Now, before birth, when she is in her mother's womb, that means that she is yet to be born. She is not born. That time when she is as an fetus present inside her mother's body, even during that time, her ovary is active for doing the function of how it will produce an ovum. Now just imagine she's herself is yet to born before her birth in her mother's body when she herself is a small tiny fetus. Okay, that time also the planning is going on how she will become pregnant. This does not happen with men, and this is not taught to women, so women are not able to appreciate their body. Please appreciate your body. You are given a very unique design. This is what comes to you. And when she is actually born, that time she's not having this 300,000 eggs. She is having a great pool of eggs, but there is an atresia, there is something going wrong naturally. The pool is reduced, and when she is born, she is brought up only with this 300,000 eggs. So this all planning is going on when she is not even born. She is planning for somebody's birth when she herself has to be born, So it is so important to understand her body. You're not dealing with a simple, straightforward that ghabrai si lady. It's not like that. She's really a very unique design, and this only nature can do. We cannot do this particular thing, right? So this is what we need to appreciate. And then see, look at the smart and highly intelligent nature. It stops her activity of producing the egg when she is born till 12 years of her age. After 12 years, with the monthly cycle, she will start releasing that particular stock that she has come up with, and from that every month one egg will be released. So that is what is the uniqueness about her whole body. Next slide, please. Okay. And this is what I'm bringing it to you, that why we are discussing today not only the cycle but all the stages. Stages, because she goes through majority 7 stages, of her life. So even men goes through, but the kind of physiological, emotional, mental changes women go through during her lifetime is not what men go through. So for men, it's not a roller coaster, it's a plain simple road. But for women, it's always a circular roller coaster, each milestone she's crossing. When she's born, she has certain particular physiology, emotional things. When she turns into her adolescent, as in teenage, okay, that time things are different. When she is a adult woman, she's ready for reproduction because she's going to get married. She's ready for her pregnancy. During the pregnancy, she can have her infertility issues, miscarriages, maybe some pregnancy issues, one pregnancy, second pregnancy, one, two miscarriages, all these things she's going through her reproductive age. With the pregnancies, she comes across post delivery changes. Okay, that is what is postpartum. And with growing age, she is the one who is going to come across perimenopause, menopause, and once her cycle ceases, then it is postmenopausal aging. So her life is not stopping. She is continuously going through changes. Her body is continuously changing. And we cannot keep this no aspects separately from the psychological aspects. So I've written how things are changing with her, no, here with her life stages. Let's quickly read this. So during childhood, obviously, she has to grow. So she's having a family background and environment provided. Her brain develops, her body develops. There is an emotional learning, dependency, attachment patterns which are developing. When she is coming through adolescence, we have secondary sexual characters developing. So in her puberty, she gains some physical maturity, body shape, body size changes, breast develop, height changes, and along with that, her identity is now changing. She starts realizing that she is becoming a girl. So there is going to be a body image concept coming her to her no along with the whatever is being provided by her society. If her family says being thin is good, she'll accept being thin is good. Okay, if the family says it's okay to be a little bit plumpy, she's okay with that. So body image definition starts coming up, okay, during this age. Then comes her reproductive time period when she grows a little bit more adult, right? Then she's going to have all her cycles set up, her sexual desires come up. She is looking into her lifestyle factors. She started doing job, maybe in education. She is having lot of relationship differences, work life balance things, emotional fluctuations. And if she's getting married, she'll have her fertility plan, infertility things, going through pregnancy. So that will bring her a different set of physiological changes, stress, anxiety, societal pressures, right? Also, identity concerns that she will be having, whether I should work as a professional or be a housewife. So there are so many things attached to this every stage that she's going through. And maybe many, because now postpartum depressions are in rise in India as we have become nuclear families. So a lot of women are now more suffering through postpartum depressions, and they are not realizing it. There is a lack of awareness for this as well. And this time is the time when she is supposed to lactate her baby, take care of her baby, and she herself is fatigued mentally. There is role adjustment issues, anxiety whether she'll be able to do best as a mother for her baby, depression issues, right? And after that time, when the cycle stops, the menstrual cycle stops or is about to stop, it has yet not completely stopped. At that time, she suffers perimenopause. So irregular cycles that leads to lot of physiological changes, weight gain, sleep disturbances, bringing new diseases in her body like high blood pressure, diabetes, aging issues, and along with that, there is also a batch of psychological issues, that is irritability, mood swings. Again, there is going to be distress, emotional distress, and lot of depression coming to this female. This brings lot of identity crisis at that time also, because they are not able to accept their bodies. Then there is lot of sexual activity issues also, because husbands are not knowing she's going through some kind of change in her body and her mental issues. And that is how what happens is her husbands fail to cooperate, and she's really having this issue how to handle. Again, lack of her own cycle awareness. So she doesn't know how to handle this. Then comes menopause, cycle completely stops, and she is now stepping into aging related changes which are very quick in women. For example, bone density issues. So she may have osteoporosis, she may start suffering from some other unknown diseases which were not prevalent in her body previously. And this brings again self-worth, no challenges. She's having burnout issues, and she is having identity crisis. She has to balance between individual needs and family needs. And then comes the long-term aging. Lot of metabolic changes making the women feel lonely, need for acceptance, and need for well-being. So this is how her life is going on. Meanwhile, we have yet not entered into the menstrual cycle. I have just given you a little basis of how the milestones of a women's life change physiologically and psychologically. Okay, so this happens to every woman to some or the other extent. It's not about being only sensitive, but she'll experience something or the other throughout her life, right? Okay, next slide, please. And now I take you to the cyclical brain. So now let's focus why we are talking about cyclical brain. Okay, so we were talking about who these women are, okay, how she's going through seven different life changing stages in her life, and why we are discussing this topic. And now I'm taking you to the actual core, the main core of this topic, that is the cyclical brain. And this picture is very valuable. It's a very recent study done on the white matter of women. These brains are of women who were the volunteer subjects during this particular study by this group. And if somebody wants the papers, I have all the papers from which I am showing you this particular no pictures and all. I can email to Murtuza sir and you can just read them out. They are beautiful insights to understand how physiologically the brains are functioning different than the men. And you can see that white matter gets activated by one hormone, which is follicle stimulating hormone, which is shown blue in color in all these particular four brains, which are listed here. And in the below diagram, you can see in red, the areas are because of progesterone. So what happens is when this follicular stimulating hormone, FSH, we call it in short, FSH, is when it is increasing, decreasing, the white matter of the female's brain, its activity is also changing. And when progesterone is increasing, decreasing, that time also its activity is changing. Am I audible? Shabnam or Shabana, I don't know. Shabana ji is not able to hear. Am I audible?
Yeah, clearly.
Yeah, okay.
Yes, ma'am, you're clear.
Yes,
So,
audible.
Shabana ji, maybe you can check your internet. So we have this white matter, right? And that's changing. Now, this is just one clue out of this FSH and progesterone hormone. These are the hormones related to her reproductive aspects. This has nothing to do with the neurotransmitters, okay, or the neurohormones, which actually deal with everybody's body. For example, dopamine, or for example serotonin. So we have loosely heard about the hormones, happy hormones. So these are not happy hormones. Those are commonly available with both the genders. These are specific to this particular group, FSH and progesterone, right? Okay, next slide please. So basically, when we say cyclical brain, we are more focused on this four particular hormones. Their combination, their high, low, and their no change in the female's body brings a major shift into her physiology and psychology. So, which are these four major, no, the drivers? These are two from pituitary gland. So, as you see in the diagram, there is a brain structure where it is written hypothalamus. So, near the hypothalamus, below that, there is going to be a small seed shape. Okay, एक बीज के दाने जैसा, a small seed shaped pituitary gland, which is known as master gland of our body. Now, that is the one to release follicular stimulating hormone and luteinizing hormone. So, we will not go what functions they do in the body. We are concerned what they do with our female reproductive system. So when brain is this pituitary gland in the brain gets the signal from hypothalamus. Hypothalamus is a part of the brain. So when hypothalamus gives signal to pituitary gland, then only pituitary gland can release these two important hormones, that is FSH and LH. And if this two will be released, then only the female gonads, that is the ovaries, the uterus, the female reproductive system, it becomes activated. And its hormones, which are produced and released by the female reproductive organs, estrogen and progesterone, they will be only formed, released, and they can only function if FSH and LH can function. And FSH and LH are directly under the influence of hypothalamus, because hypothalamus must release GnRH, that is another hormone. Okay, gonadotropin release hormone. Now, this hypothalamus gets activated not only by the internal genetic programming, but also because of the external environment that the female is facing or imbibing. So, if she is in a very happy, healthy environment, she will have a normal cycle. Okay, she'll have a normal start, normal end. But if the social system is not good enough, she may not get her periods just because of the psychological trauma. So that is why those questions you recollect. Some said both, some said only psychological, only biological. We can sometimes not distinguish it's purely psychological or purely biological, because it is integrated problem. In females case, it's a very integrated problem backed by social system. There is also a baggage of how the environment has groomed this whole problem. Okay, so let's take one example. If there is a girl, she's having a puja in her family, and she's supposed to be there in the puja, and her mother is like, if your period will come, you cannot sit in the puja. There is a lot of societal pressure that the period should not come, the period should not come. If the period will come, this puja cannot happen. Okay, now this is creating anxiety in her brain. Oh, the period will come, I won't be able to sit in the puja. Or let's say she is a very no Navratri fan, she wants to go for Navratri, but if there is going to be period, she cannot go for the Navratri, right? So in that condition, she has in back of her mind, if period will come, what will happen? Now, maybe because of that, period delays, period doesn't come. Now, this is what happens because the hypothalamus is also having pressure by other hormones because of the stress that is being generated. So sometimes it's purely psychological, which is connected to making the biological conditioning normal, and sometimes it's purely biological, which is actually required to address the psychological issue. For example, in case of menopause. So in menopause, progesterone, estrogens are extremely low. Because they are very much low, this whole pattern, there is a clock going on within the body, which is known as feedback mechanism. That feedback mechanism is disturbed. So because there is no feedback mechanism going on, brain hormones are getting disturbed and she is becoming a depression patient. So then that is what is menopausal depression. Now, the underlying aspect is biological. So this is so intricate, we need to take help of every aspect to support this kind of females. We just cannot say it's only psychological or it's only biological. There is going to be a lot of psychology build up because of this kind of issues. Next slide, please. Yes. So this is just to show you how the menstrual cycle phases, they are interlinked with the hormonal levels as we discuss those four hormones, right? So if there is a usually approximate time period of a monthly cycle is 28 days. So that's why here you can see on the x-axis 0 to 28 days is mentioned, right? And you can see the hormonal levels on the y-axis. Now, these hormones you see starting from day 0 to day 28. These four hormones, their interaction is continuously changing. So there is a period when she is going through her bleeding, that is known as menses. And after menses, there is a time period when she is going to release the ovum. So that is day 14. And these phases are known as follicular phase and luteal phase. So luteal phase is the one when sooner she is going to approach her periods. And follicular phase is the one when sooner she is going to release her ovum. So that is how 14 days makes 28 days cycle. Okay. Now, in this condition, if you will pick up any one hormone, let's pick up the hormone which is labeled with dark brown in color. Okay, so that is going to be the hormone, which is what is your no estradiol hormone. Now, if you see estradiol hormone, day zero, it's very low. Then it is rising slowly during the follicular phase. When you will see day 14, it is little bit high. After day 14, it is dropping, little bit drop. Again, it's rising by 28, it's almost down. So it's continuously changing. And this is happening with all the four no hormones. They are continuously changing. And this is one of the major causes of particularly those 20% women who are sensitive towards hormonal conditioning. Please go back. Yeah. So they are the ones who are suffering from. Yes, estradiol and estrogen hormones are same, Rutika. We actually it's a derivative. It's basically estradiol, which is given as in supplement. We cannot give estrogen from outside. So the derivative is estrogen, and estradiol is the no umbrella hormone. So we have this no four different ones interacting within their body, and that is why some days she feels low, some days she is in high. And when she is having her periods, there is a sudden rise of certain particular hormone. The way you see LH, the LH has shoot up during day 14. So many also have a lot of mental health changes during ovulation time period. That particular 4 5 days are also showing her change in her behavior, in her nature, in her no functioning, because LH has shoot up no very greatly. Now this is not noticed by her also, because she's not aware about her own body, so she fails to understand what's happening to her, and that makes her feel more overwhelming. They are very confused because they don't know what's happening to them. So I always tell people that if you get to fight with some women, give them benefit of doubt. No, they might be having some physiological aspect which is making them do that. Okay, so we need to figure out what is going on within her. Next slide, please. Okay. And this is the brain which functions along with these all no four different hormones. So mind well that pituitary hormones are functioning. But then because of all these changes along the hormone, you can see the other aspects, because see our body works in an integrated, wholesome way. We are not separate system. Brain is connected to a lot of other no glands, lot of other body system, lot of other organs. Same way other organs are connected with our physiological aspect. So overall there is going to be an integrated cumulative effect coming out when we see the person's behavior. So when you see the brain during this menstrual cycle, you can see here she's more anxious. There is going to be no certain particular issues during the approach of the period, when the uterine lining is building up. Okay, she will be more calmer when she is no having that 14 days period, when she is in the phase of luteal phase. No, she needs to remain more particularly having more calmness during that particular time period. And when the line is broken up, she is absolutely fine. You see most of the female, when their bleeding is over, they are very relaxed. Or when their period comes, that kind of relaxation and the sleep that they get after the period cycle, first 2 3 days have gone, that kind of sleep they never get. They are so relaxed during that particular period. Now that is where the brain functioning is going on. So naturally when she is in her ovulation time period, her whole body desires to have sexual act, because the ovum is coming out of her body. So she will be more efficient during that particular period. When she is approaching her no periods, definitely that particular time, that menses time, she's going to be more anxious, she's going to have more issues. Okay, lack of no concentration, a lot of cognitive issues. This is going to happen to her during that particular time period, right? The next slide, please. Okay, so the same thing I have mentioned over here, but with respect to certain cognition and with respect to the cyclic aspect. So now, if you will see a little bit more clearly, 1 to 9 or 8th day, if you will see labeled as follicular phase, right? During this particular follicular phase, she is actually in her periods. So that time she is going to no release the blood, right? All those things are happening. So that time you can see her moods are changing, her cognition is different, difficulty focusing, concentrating, there is no alertness. Okay, she'll be forgetful, she cannot write her exams properly, right? This all things happens during this phase. And during my studies I have come across many students who have confessed that they sometimes also no commit accidents just because they couldn't understand what happened. So many a times when they are into their periods or approaching periods, what happens is that there is little brain fog and they are driving and suddenly they fall down. So it's very natural. ऐसे ही एक्सीडेंट हो जाता है, कोई आगे पीछे कोई नहीं है बट गिर गए. Now, this happens very commonly with women, but it is not much noticed. The only reason is that it's because of that phase she's going through. As the cognition level goes down when she's approaching her menses or she's crossing her menses. So that is because of her brain functioning is changing out of the disturbances in the hormones. Okay. And mood swings will be there. She'll be very much irritated, angry. So those things will come up. If you will see in the no the luteal phase part, right? So there is the word cognition that side also, which shows changes in memory and difficulty concentrating. Which particular time period? The late luteal phase days means the one which are close to striking her bleeding, right? So if first is the date when she is supposed to have her bleeding, then the 25th, 26th, 27th, 28th, that particular week, those days, right? They are the ones where she will have maximum difficulty concentrating, memory changes. This will happen during that particular time period. Right, so though that is what is premenstrual syndrome, right? Around 200 plus symptoms happen in the 7 days before the date of the period strikes. And most of these are psychological, not addressed. Okay, nobody addresses this particular symptoms. I have checked with so many doctors, they normalize it. This happens, it's period, so it happens. But they don't want to address it and find out some cure or treatment or help them with some other thing to how to deal with the symptoms. Okay, so that's happening. Next slide, please. Okay, so we are already 7:56, so I'll not go much in detail of this, but this is each menstrual no phase of the cycle with what kind of hormones are increasing and decreasing, and you can see how the mental pattern is also changing, right? So, which is the best time period? The follicular and the ovulatory phase, those are the best days. Means the days after they have completed their periods, they are in their full efficiency. They work maximum, there is clarity, there is a lot of optimism, there is a lot of motivation, okay, improved mood, confidence level, high energy level, emotionally they are open, emotionally stable. This all you will see after the period has got over till the no next the next 15 days would be good enough. But the week before the period and the week of the period, those 15 days are critical for these kind of females. Okay, next slide, please. Okay, and I cannot forget to no deliver this to you, otherwise I have not done enough justice related to today's topic. There are a lot of reproductive disorders which have underlying hormonal changes linked up with psychological issues. I again repeat, psychological issues can change hormonal condition. Hormonal condition can change psychological problem. It is vice versa. It cannot be one way. It is vice versa and very difficult to track which has done the damage first. Okay, and this is where this loop is in reproductive disorders also. There are a lot of reproductive disorders, but these are some of the most important ones and most popularly happening, like PCOS, PCOD. Nowadays, we see even in 14, 16 years of girls, and that brings lot of hormonal changes in their body to that extent that they suffer from diabetes, obesity, and also thyroid issues because of this. So those changes are bringing lot of body shame, a lot of concern, lot of anxiety, and it's very difficult to continuously deal with one problem for many years. So if a patient who has been suffering infertility, let's say for 5, 7 years, just being an infertile patient, that label itself is so heavy that she lose her all psychological health dealing with that label. So that is where all these no aspects are also very important. Endometriosis brings lot of pain in the ovary and the uterus. It's an unbearable pain, and that pain is sometimes bringing frustration. So it is so badly happening that they cannot bear. Even with the painkillers, sometimes it's not getting controlled. Then it's very frustrating that they have anger issues. They will be getting socially isolated, right? Same goes with cancers. Those who are not married and they still have a cancer issue, this is going to be a problem for them, because uh, like a lady suffering from cervical cancer yet to get married, or uterine cancer yet to get married, she has a thought how she will have a baby. And there are so many painful traumatic issues of cancer itself, plus of not being able to reproduce. So that is really very tricky for her, and without addressing this you cannot heal a person. And I'll request humbly everybody present in today's session, let's not talk about treatment, therapy, or just dealing with the females. Let's help heal them to whatever extent we can. And for healing, we need to know their backgrounds. We have to spend time listening to them and allowing them to express the underlying things without filters, because they don't know how to express. They themselves are not aware about themselves. So, that is the first challenge that you will have to penetrate, removing the lenses that they have created, their society has created for them, and then going deep within and finding out what is the root behind it, right? Next slide, please. Yeah, next slide. Yeah. So I've just labeled few of the disorders just to help you understand how they might be suffering from different mental health issues because of these problems. So I have already discussed PCOD, but amenorrhea I would like to take up. Amenorrhea means the females who don't come across period. They are the ones who are not getting periods right time. So sometimes because of that, they have low mood, they feel they are out of the group, they don't belong to their friends, because all their friends might have got periods and they are left alone, not getting the periods. So that brings lot of stress, anxiety, identity concerns, okay, to them. Same goes with dysmenorrhea, okay, again an irregularity of the period. So that's very irritable aspect for them. Fatigue is a very common underlying tone for everything. And I personally feel fatigue is a very huge word in case of women's health. Not only physical, fatigue is very mental, more mental and less physical. Physical still can be overcome, but the mental fatigue sometimes is unending for millions of women all over the world, again not recognized in the right way. Recently we did one research with two of our clinical embryology students, and we could find that we were tracing 2 monthly cycle every day's no we took a form wherein students were supposed to note down on a scale of 1 to 0, sorry, 1 to 10, how much is their energy per day, and this they have to do it for 2 months. Okay, and we have come out with statistical proofs that there is a low energy during periods, prior to the periods. And so many of them, they have complained of feeling fatigue. They are not to their best mental health throughout the month. Now, this is not a case of just physiology. There is so much going on in the back of the mind. There are a lot of other pressures which also builds up. So that's why I say take it integrated. Don't go with just one story that they come up with. You have to gather a lot of stories and actually go through that and derive what exactly it is, right? Next slide, please. These are the life phases. Each life phases are going to have some or the other possible mental health issues coming up. So I'll just throw light on some very important one, not discussing the complete slide. One thing which is coming up very quickly nowadays in India is the presence of PMDD, premenstrual dysphoric disorder, which is not much being talked about, but this is visibly now growing in particularly metropolitan cities because of maybe they are in nuclear families, staying alone, working professionals. So that is coming up very fast and being very violent during this time period. So India does not have rules wherein a person can file a case if they are suffering from PMDD and if they have committed some violence. They can be no be non-punishable if it is proven in certain countries. So in certain countries they consider PMDD to be a real medical issue, and if that gets proved, she is non-punishable even if she has done a murder. But in India, we still do not know what is PMDD. So most of the Indian females, they don't know what is PMDD. We did a study in Bangalore with one of the students in Bangalore and its vicinity, around 150 cases, and we have really found out PMDD on a high rise. So we know Bangalore is one of the metropolitan cities, and this has really come up as an underlying issue. But this is growing fast in our cities, and this is not addressed. When I had approached a gynecologist about PMDD and PMS and all those things, what they say is it happens. It is a part of the cycle. But this cannot be the statement of a gynec because the females need some no help during these phases, how to deal with the anger, how to deal with the outburst. And that's not being provided by the doctors because they consider this to be normal. So there is a no, we have to actually change the narrative not only for psychologists but also for the gynecologist, general practitioners, and everybody. This goes for everybody, right? And one more I would address is the menopausal depression that is on rise nowadays. And apart from menopause, perimenopause is increasing a lot because the women who are approaching menopause, their age is also going down. So there are a number of women who in their 30s and 35, they are going through this perimenopausal problem. And because they are approaching medically early menopause than the required age, they suffer a lot of fluctuations in their hormones, leading to a lot of psychological troubles, which needs to be addressed. So perimenopausal is also very tricky because we do not have appropriate protocols in medical science to label that this is exactly perimenopausal. So it's a very transitory phase for number of women, and that's how no, it's difficult to trace and find out, but still it can be judged to some extent. Next slide, please. These are few more. I'll not take up the time. It's already 8:06. So first period trauma, because we don't encourage or we are never talking about the periods in a healthy way. So most of the female, when they see their first blood, they have shock. So that remains lifetime with them. And that brings a shame and that brings a fear to get periods next time. So that is a major trauma. There is nobody who has like really been happy, oh, I have got my periods. Everybody blames their periods, that there is a curse behind the period. Menophobia, when the period date is approaching, many girls, they have phobia of period is coming. So that is going on in their no mind, and because of that they cannot do their normal functioning. Period anxiety, another thing. When period comes, then what to do, how to handle, so that anxiety is there. fear of leakage, most common, whether it's a young girl of 9 years or a 40 years lady bleeding, everybody is worried about leakage. And it's unfortunate I come from science background, but we have no single tool which can really sort out this fear. So we have so many products in menstrual hygiene, but still we are not able to give them a comfortable product which assures them 100% leakage proof. So that is a problem. And there is this menstrual cup, but then people are not into it because you have to insert it within the body. So no such instrument is yet available. Lot of fatigue issue and blood phobia. So the girls are not able to see the blood. They are fearful about the blood that they have to see, and that is never addressed. Nobody asks them, "Wow, how are you dealing with your 5 days bleeding and the blood that you see?" That is itself is so much traumatic for them to just go through those bleeding days. And that is why periods cannot be normalized for them, as they don't understand how to handle this blood phobia. Next slide, please. This is where the social cultural aspect make it more difficult for women to go through. So again, I'll just take few of them. For example, the we know that periods are considered impure and you are not supposed to discuss them openly. If somebody is talking about sex, it's very embarrassing. You are labeled, you are a bad girl, you are a loose character girl because you are talking about your reproduction or maybe family planning tool or no things like that. That this all are creating troubles for not allowing people, especially women, to talk about their menstrual health or their health issues. And we are normalizing these particular things. So it is good if we don't talk. That is not, that is what has become our label in the society. If she's having some anger issue, she becomes violent, then what we are saying is her nature is bad. We don't want to go in the detail of it and check why she is behaving like this. I had a couple, they were just about to have a divorce, but their divorce did not happen because their family lawyer, their friend was their lawyer. So he tried to figure out why they want to take a divorce, and they found out that the female always fights for no reason with her husband during her PMS days. And because of that, there is no other issue with the couple, but the only thing is she fights very badly during her PMS days. And then he counseled them, he gave them this education that what is PMS, how to do its management, and the marriage was saved. Now we need social structure to be built up like this and not the pressure to be there on the female. So that is how the social silence is very a big issue. The way the women are suffering in postpartum periods. So many of the women, they have this postpartum depression, but we are expected to consider the women to be very happy about receiving a baby. She is happy, but then she might not be able to express her emotion because she is also fatigued. She is also tired handling that particular phase. So all the women are not equally fit enough to handle pregnancy. Maybe there are who are not able to handle it properly. But if she is showing some other behavior than being a happy mother, it is again considered to be weakness. She is not the one who wanted her baby. She's labeled. So that is where this problem goes on. The way, recently one of our participants shared that when she's talking about her individual boundary, she's labeled that she has suddenly turned like this. Now she wants to become individual. No, and up till now, what she was doing till her 40s. So people are judging her on a different term. So that is where social issues and beliefs create lot of stigma and shame for women, which again makes it difficult for her mental health. Next slide, please. Okay, so these are just to give you the actual risk. So, 7 times higher risk of suicide attempt in women with PMDD has been listed out in research, and they are more vulnerable during the late luteal phase. I'll not go in the detail of the slide. Next slide. Okay, we can also leave this. Maybe next. Yes. So let's come to the closing part and the most important part. How can we do something for these women? So if you are a clinical psychologist, if you are into some clinical practice, you need to ask menstrual and reproductive history in an appropriate way. Also do some time tracking. Okay, so if they are complaining about some symptoms, please do some checking whether it is related to their cycles or it is an abruptly coming up symptoms. Where is the trigger? And you can also use lot of screening tools, although you will not find a single tool which integrates all the aspects, but at least you will get to have some on layer briefing, which can be easily obtained through the screening tools. And if you are a counselor, maybe from a psychological point of view, your shift should be not only from when it is happening, but also what is happening. Okay, so start asking the question what. Okay, so along with what, when it started. So timelining and time linking is important. So you should check with your no cyclic aspect if this is happening, when it is happening, right? And validate biology and emotional issues. Don't consider it to be something, as if it's happening imaginary. No, these are real issues. Many people are still not ready to accept that all these are real issues of women. दे से ख्याली पुलाव है, एक्चुअली नहीं है, ख्याली पुलाव नहीं है, ख्याली पुलाव बन जाते हैं, वो एक प्रॉब्लम है. So that is what you have to sort it out and avoid over pathologizing these cycles. Next slide, please. We need to have more awareness and education. We need to normalize the conversations, bring a lot of menstrual literacy, and also no train gender sensitive practices. Need to break stigma, encourage expression in any form, because we are not able to speak, then okay, communication can be via any other tools. Reduce the pressure on playing the roles. She is a mother, she should be like this only. She is a wife, she can only do this. These are wrong pressures that we input on the female. Next slide. If you are a woman, then you should build your awareness cycle. Okay. So you should know what your biological cycles are, how you are operating through your different no life stages. You must learn about that. Seek help without feeling guilty. It's okay to ask for help. This should come from you, and you need to prioritize yourself. Please have some time to pamper yourself. This goes to me also and to you also. Someday just freak out, have an ice cream on your own. It's okay to do like that. It's absolutely fine to say, no, I don't want to do this right now. I'll do it later on, or I may not do. Okay, so we need to learn this kind of things and break the internal circuit which has built up no, through our upbringing. For men, how can you help women? Listen without judging. If they are saying something, try to acknowledge it, validate it. Okay, try to acknowledge their mood changes. If they have cycle pains, they are complaining about something, listen to that. Don't use some dismissive language. ये तो होता है, अब ये तेरा प्रॉब्लम है, तू देख ले. नो, मोस्ट ऑफ द मैन दे आर लाइक दिस, अरे इसका पीरियड आ गया, अभी ये नहीं करेगी, ये ऐसा करेगी. देयर इज नो कोऑपरेशन फ्रॉम द हस्बैंड्स. So we need to train the men. So the women who have their men in the those women who are in this particular group, if you are raising a man, you have children who are boys, please train them into this. Okay, share emotional and household load, support help seeking, right? And respect their boundaries. If she says she is not willing to do that, there might be a reason. Let her not do that. Don't force her. Educate your own self and normalize the conversation. Sit with your wives, sit with your daughters, sit with your friends, and ask them what's happening to them during their this kind of phases, because that helps them gain confidence, and that also will bridge a lot of bonding between you and your no female partner. Okay, next slide, please. Also, I have ended up hopefully not taking your more time before the dinner, maybe 10 minutes more. But you see, this topic is unending. Each slide is actually one lesson. So, understanding her biology is the first step to healing her psychology. So, please, hopefully, you will take this back home inculcate in your whatsoever work you are doing, and this will surely sharpen your tools to deal with the women. If you do that, then all my energy no spent today and all the time given to me by Cohesive Minds organization, no, that really works out well. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. I'm like, I have no words right now to share, but really thank you for such an enlightening session. And the way you have break down the various cycle stages was incredibly insightful to us. Such a complex topic, but you have turned into something very practical and really feeling very empowering after listening to you. I really appreciate that. Thank you so much for sharing your expertise. Sir, is it okay we can open for two or three questions?
Yes, yes, yes. It is a
If
so
anybody
lovely
has a
discussion.
question, please come up.
Please, and
I mean, I have so many questions right now, but it will take a lot of
no,
time.
no.
So we'll meet specially for that.
Yes.
Anybody has a question, please?
Um, Hi, I'm Jyoti.
Hi, Jyoti. Please.
Yeah. Yeah, firstly, it was such a lovely session. I really don't have, I'm trying to pick some terminologies to.
Jyoti, we are not able to hear you.
Hello, Jyoti.
My concern here is
Yeah.
because I handle sessions for school children right now. Campus.
Jyoti ji, we cannot
And I
hear
want
you. You can type in the chat box.
Hello, Jyoti. We missed your question. Can you repeat, please? And next, the
a
Shabana.
support system. So I think, yeah.
You can write in the chat box. Dr. Nihal will read and answer you. So, meanwhile, we would like to take up the question of Ms. Shabana.
Yeah, am I audible to everyone?
Yes, yes.
Yes,
Yeah.
Shabana, please.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Murtaza, and thank you so much, all the team connecting me. I'm sitting on the airport and having a session, and that's wonderful. First of all, I want to say thanks to the doctor. She informed it in a very, very appropriate way. Ma'am, as a mental health professional, I am taking kind of a menstruational history with so many early 40s or kind of a ladies, right? So sometime don't able to understand कि it is just because of a biological thing or some menopause happening. That is the reason. Could you please suggest me some kind of a scale or the assessment scale where we can generally just assess that kind of a symptom so that we can have a better understanding related their problems, because you asked a question in the activity that sometime we just directly diagnosed or misdiagnosed them with the depression or anxiety and starting with the treatment. So is there any questionnaire or scale to assess this kind of a problem?
So, ma'am, unfortunately, we do not have an integrated, validated test available for assessing the psychological aspects of menopausal women. But what you can do is you can go for three consecutive monthly cycle analysis of the symptoms which she is repeating. So that
Right.
is very easy way to find out whether it is cyclically happening. Is it on a regular scale because of her change in the menstrual history? And you can
Mhm.
ask her to bring the gynecology reports, because now gynecologists are getting their blood tests done for these hormones. So if the hormones are going down, they will be labeling them whether they are into perimenopause or menopause or not, because that is how they judge, and accordingly they want to treat the patient. So in
Right.
condition, you will directly get an no one more tool that okay, she's labeled from her gynec that she is going through change in the hormones and the hormonal levels are reducing. So that would be one more predictable no method to judge. For those who are having regular cycles and showing you some symptoms, then you can check with PMS, PMDD. Now, PMDD, recently I saw somebody has made a tool in 2024. They have created one questionnaire which can be utilized for Indian female, because there is no such kind of validated tool available. But
Right.
DSM has labeled the symptoms, and DSM
Mm-hmm.
has already given which symptoms you should observe for consecutive 2, 3 cycles. If those
Okay.
are being visible to you, you can then address it accordingly.
Right.
For PMS, we are already having the distress tool that is there. So PSDT tool is available. So that I
Mhm.
think that you can get it from, because it's a free tool available. So you can get it easily online also. Download the questionnaire and ask them fill up those questionnaire. But whatever you do, you should do it for at least 2 to 3 cycles.
Right, ma'am.
That means if she should be able to give you some date, that this date I had my bleeding, and then when she's going to approach next date, you need to ask her that for 2, 3 days she should fill up that form, because that will help you generate the pattern, and you will come
Yeah.
to know that whether she is having problem because of the cycle, or there is some other issue, or cycle is also getting triggered with some social issue. Sometimes
Right.
there is a trigger is different and cycle is coming, the trigger accumulates and overburst the symptoms. But sometimes she can handle her cycle because there is no other trigger available with it. So then you can do her counseling accordingly.
Yeah. Thank you so much, ma'am. It will really, really helpful for the
Yeah.
treatment plan, because this part is just, sometime is a avoidable kind of a situation we never touched as a Indian professionals as well.
Yes,
So
and
it's
many
just
many people,
you
yeah,
have
many,
given a very, very, very beautiful kind of insight. And being a female, I do respect that that efforts and everything you people
yeah.
are doing. That's great.
And
That's wonderful.
you can, for other things to judge many, because we don't have one single tool. So many are using mood disorder tools, anxiety tools.
Right.
They also use Hamilton's, no, depression
Yeah,
inventory.
yeah, Ham A, Ham
So
D. They
they
have
they
they have
treat it.
one two questions related menstruation, but not the proper the scale.
Yeah,
Right,
but
ma'am.
that is not there. So I also invite psychologic friends that please go for validating some test and give it to us, because we do not have validated test inventories, batteries for Indian women. Nobody is
Yes,
working on validating such kind of tools, which are really very valuable.
yes, yes.
Yes,
That is
ma'am.
very much important, Dr. Nihal. I think Shavana must agree to it. And so, Shavana, we, the mental health practitioner, we can work on this. And this is very much important with the guidance of Dr. Nihal and Dr. Shudipta also.
Yes, yes, definitely. We
Very
can
much
work on
important.
it. We can work on it.
Sure, sure,
Yeah,
sure.
Yeah.
yeah,
One more
Right.
There's a
question, ma'am. One
is
more
in chat.
question. It is in the chat that, ma'am, can you
yeah.
tell in brief about early sign of identifying PCOS and PCOD, which may not be notified easily?
Okay, so Rutika, the PCOD is polycystic ovarian syndrome or disorder, and this actually, polycystic means you have lot of cysts which are present in the ovary. Now, this can only be confirmed when you do sonography. Before sonography, nobody can confirm whether you have this problem or not. One is hormonal, and one is going to have some changes because of some genetical aspect. That's how it is, polycystic ovarian syndrome and disorder. So disorder can be tackled, syndrome cannot be tackled. Okay, but both of them, they can reproduce if they are medically treated properly. Earlier, what you will face is, if you are having irregular periods, that's the first sign. Not to undermine irregular periods, you should go and see the gynec, because they will then try to find out why the periods are irregular. And sometimes that is a very important key, that will lead you to find out through sonography whether it is PCOD or PCOS. Second thing is, now it's linked up many a times with thyroid. So weight gain is a problem with PCOD people. There can be hormonal changes which brings hair onto your chin. No, so even if you are 20 years old, you might be having androgens produced. So because of that, you may have little hair on your this chin bone, so sides of the chin bone. So that could be one reason that you might be approaching PCOD, or you have some issue related to it. Sudden body gain, that is sudden increase in the weight, right? And if you ask me psychologically, mood swings, irritability are also a part of PCOD, PCOS. It's not just happening in PMS. So maybe you are having a regular cycle, but there is a very high scale of anger issue with you, maybe irritation with you, and you are gaining weight. Okay, this could be your signs. Maybe you are a PCOD, PCOS patient. And my personal observation is this is very commonly happening with girls who are having lot of fast food, junk food, because junk food has lot of processed food, has lot of chemicals, and chemicals disrupt your biology. So because of that, hormonal changes are very quickly happening to them, right? Yeah.
I think we are done with the question answers. Pari, I would like to please forward with the vote of thanks. Thank you.
As we come to the end of this insightful webinar, I would like to take a moment to express our heartfelt gratitude. Firstly, our sincere thanks to our esteemed speakers for sharing their invaluable experience and knowledge and practical insights. Your guidance has truly helped us gain a deeper and more sensitive understanding. Also, special thanks to all the participants who have joined us today. Your presence, engagement, and willingness to learn make such initiatives meaningful and impactful. On behalf of Cohesive Minds Foundation, thank you all once again for being a part of this learning journey. We look forward to many more meaningful conversations and collaborations together. Have a wonderful evening ahead.
Thank you
Thank
so
you,
much.
Pari. Thank you
Thank
so much,
you.
Dr. Nehal. Thank
Thank
you.
you,
Good
Neha.
Thank
night,
you.
everyone.
Good night. See you. Bye.
Good night.